Lana had always lived in the middle of a noisy city where car horns, tall buildings, and rushing people filled every corner of her life. For years, she had wanted a break, even a small one, where she could breathe without feeling like she was running after time. When her friend suggested she visit a quiet countryside ranch for a few days, she finally agreed. She didn't know exactly what she was looking for, but she knew she needed peace. That was what brought her to the open fields, calm skies, and slow winds of the ranch. The first morning she arrived, she stood near the white wooden fence and watched the land stretch far into the distance. The sky was a soft blue, and the air smelled fresh, so different from the smoke-filled city. She felt a small wave of relief wash over her. Maybe this break would help her relax. Maybe it would help her find herself again. As she stood there quietly, she noticed someone walking toward her with steady, confident steps. It was a man wearing worn-out boots and a hat that shaded his eyes. His shoulders were strong, and his expressions were calm, as if he belonged to the land itself. This was Ethan, the rancher everyone in the area respected. He had lived on the ranch his entire life. People said he was quiet, hard-working, and gentle with both animals and people. Lana didn't expect to be nervous, but when he got closer, she straightened herself and tried to look confident. Ethan nodded politely and welcomed her in a low, friendly voice. "You must be Lana. The owner told me you'd be staying here for a few days." She nodded with a small smile. "Yes. I just needed a change of scenery." "Well," he said, looking over the wide field, "you'll find plenty of that here." His voice was calm, almost comforting. Somehow, just standing near him made her feel slightly grounded. He offered to show her around the ranch and explain how everything worked. Lana agreed, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. As they walked, Ethan pointed out the different areas where the horses stayed, where the cows grazed, where the tools were kept, and the big open fields that made the ranch look endless. He didn't talk too much, but whenever he spoke, his words were steady and thoughtful. Lana found herself listening carefully, enjoying the simple way he explained things. After showing her around, Ethan asked if she wanted to try horse riding. Lana froze. She had never been on a horse before. The animals were beautiful, tall, and strong, but she wasn't sure if she could handle one. Ethan noticed the hesitation in her expression. "You don't have to ride if you don't want to," he said kindly. "We can take it slow." Lana didn't want to seem scared, so she nodded even though her heart was beating faster. "I'll try," she said softly. Ethan brought out a brown horse named Maple. Maple had warm eyes and looked calm enough to trust. Ethan gently placed his hand on the horse's neck. "She's friendly," he said. "She listens well. If you trust her, she'll trust you." Lana reached out her hand nervously, and Maple sniffed it before nudging her softly. Lana let out a tiny laugh. "She's sweet." "See?" Ethan said, a small smile appearing on his usually serious face. "She likes you already." With Ethan's help, Lana climbed onto the saddle. Even though he supported her, she felt her stomach twist in fear. Sitting so high made her nervous. She tried to hide it, but Ethan noticed. "Don't worry," he said gently. "I'll lead her. She won't go fast." Lana nodded, gripping the saddle tightly. Ethan took the reins and guided Maple forward. The horse walked slowly, her steps steady and gentle. Lana felt herself relax just a little, though she still held the saddle like her life depended on it. The ranch was quiet except for the soft sound of Maple's hooves on the ground. Birds chirped somewhere in the distance, and the wind moved through the grass like a calm wave. Lana started to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere. It felt like the world had finally slowed down for her. But after a few minutes, Maple's steps became a little faster, not running, just trotting. Even though it was still slow for an experienced rider, it felt too fast for Lana. Her heart jumped, and she grabbed the saddle tighter. "Be gentle. It's too fast," she said suddenly, her voice trembling. Ethan immediately stopped the horse and looked up at her with concern. Are you okay? Lana felt embarrassed. She didn't want to seem weak, but she couldn't help how she felt. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I'm not used to this. You don't need to apologize, Ethan said softly. Everyone starts somewhere. It's normal to be nervous. His tone wasn't judging. It wasn't amused. It was genuinely understanding. This made Lana feel a little better. He slowly guided the horse again, but this time even slower than before, almost as if Maple was walking on clouds. Better? He asked. Yes, Lana whispered. As they continued moving, Lana noticed how gentle Ethan was, not only with her but with Maple too. He spoke softly to the horse, guiding her with care. He didn't rush anything. Every movement and decision seemed thoughtful and steady. She admired that. In her fast-paced life, she rarely met people who slowed down for anything or anyone. After a while, Lana's fear started to fade. She loosened her grip on the saddle and even looked around the land. The view was beautiful. The open space, the quiet wind, the sunlight spreading across the fields. It made her feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. When the lesson was over, Ethan helped her down carefully. Lana's legs felt weak, partly from the ride and partly from nerves. Ethan held her arm lightly, so she wouldn't stumble. You did well, he said. Lana laughed softly. I almost screamed. But you didn't, Ethan said. And you didn't quit either. That counts. His words warmed her heart more than she expected. She had come here thinking she would just rest and leave. But something about Ethan's calm nature made her feel more comfortable than she had in months. As they walked back toward the ranch house, Lana glanced at him a few times. He walked beside her quietly, but his presence was strong in a peaceful way. She didn't know why, but she felt safe around him. Maybe it was the way he listened. Maybe it was the way he didn't rush her. Or maybe it was simply who he was, someone steady in a world that moved too fast. That evening, Lana sat outside on the porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft orange and pink shades. She thought about her life in the city, the meetings, the pressure, the constant deadlines. Then she thought about today, about Maple and the way Ethan slowed everything down for her the moment she felt scared. She smiled to herself. Maybe this place would give her more than just a break. Maybe it would teach her something she never realized she needed. Little did she know, this was only the beginning. The gentle moment she shared with Ethan that day, the way he listened, the way he slowed down the world for her, would soon grow into something deeper. Something she didn't expect when she first stepped onto the ranch. Lana woke up the next morning feeling lighter than she had in a long time. The air on the ranch was cool and fresh, carrying a soft breeze that slipped through the window of her guest room. For the first time in months, she woke up without the loud noise of alarm clocks, traffic, and rushing thoughts. Instead, she heard birds somewhere outside and the gentle rustling of leaves. It felt peaceful, almost healing. When she stepped outside, she noticed Ethan already working near the barn. He was lifting a bucket of feed for the animals, moving with quiet strength and calmness. Lana walked toward him, unsure if she should interrupt his work. You're up early, Ethan said the moment he glanced her way, as though he had sensed her presence before she even spoke. I'm trying to match ranch life, she replied with a small smile. You don't need to match anything here, he said simply. Just go at your own pace. His words were gentle, and they made her feel welcomed, not pressured. Lana realized that life here didn't expect her to run, rush, or prove anything. She could simply be herself, and that alone felt comforting. Ethan asked if she wanted to help with the morning chores. Lana nodded eagerly, wanting to experience more of ranch life. She followed him inside the barn, where the soft sound of animals echoed warmly. The horses shifted their weight. Cows made light noises, and the smell of hay filled the air. It was different from anything she was used to, but strangely calming. Ethan showed her how to feed the horses first. Lana held a bucket nervously, unsure how close she should get. When one of the horses leaned toward her, she flinched slightly. Ethan stepped beside her, guiding her hands gently. "Just let her know you're not scared," he said. "Animals pick up on our feelings." Lana let out a soft breath and extended her hand again. The horse ate calmly from the bucket, and Lana's eyes widened in surprise. "She likes it," she said. "She likes you," Ethan corrected with a small smile. "You're doing good." Those simple words gave her confidence. She moved from one horse to another, slowly gaining comfort. Ethan stayed by her side, offering instructions when needed, but never rushing her. He seemed to understand that she learned best when things moved slowly and clearly. After finishing with the horses, Ethan guided her outside to help with other simple tasks, like filling water troughs, checking fences, and gathering a few tools from the shed. Lana was clumsy at times. She dropped a rope once, spilled water twice, and almost tripped when a chicken ran across her path. But Ethan never once laughed or scolded her. Instead, he just smiled patiently, as if expecting these small mistakes. He made her feel like it was all part of the learning process, nothing to be embarrassed about. At one point, when Lana struggled to lift a bucket of water, Ethan stepped beside her and held the other side. "Let's do it together," he said. His steady support made the task easier, and she felt grateful for his kindness. Throughout the morning, they shared small, simple conversations. Lana told him about her job, how she spent long days in an office, staring at screens, dealing with deadlines and pressure. Ethan listened quietly, nodding every now and then. When she finished talking, he said something that stayed in her heart. "You're strong, you know. Not everyone can handle that kind of life." Lana looked at him, surprised. No one had ever called her strong before. They only told her she was always busy or stressed. Ethan made her see herself differently. "And you?" she asked. "Don't you ever feel tired of ranch work?" "Of course," Ethan said. "But it's a different kind of tired. Out here, things may be hard, but they're honest. There's no noise in your head. Only the work in front of you." Lana understood what he meant. She could already feel the difference between her normal life and this new environment. Here, she could breathe. She could feel her own thoughts, instead of drowning in them. After lunch, Ethan asked if she wanted to try riding again. Lana hesitated. Her heart remembered how scared she felt the day before when the horse went a little faster, but she also remembered how Ethan had slowed everything immediately, without making her feel silly. "Only if you want to," he added gently, noticing her silence. "There's no rush." His patience gave her courage. She nodded. "I want to try again." Ethan brought Maple, the same calm horse from yesterday. Maple seemed happy to see her, nudging her softly. Lana stroked her neck and felt calmer already. Ethan helped her onto the saddle once more. This time her hands weren't shaking as much. She still held the saddle tightly, but she didn't feel frozen with fear. She trusted Ethan, and surprisingly, she trusted Maple too. "We'll go slow," Ethan said, taking the reins. "Just like yesterday. If anything feels too much, tell me." They started moving, the horse walking softly through the field. Lana inhaled deeply, letting the calmness of the surroundings fill her chest. Ethan walked beside the horse, one hand guiding the reins, the other held loosely at his side. After a few minutes, Ethan asked, "Do you want to try steering a little?" Lana's eyes widened. "Me? You can do it," he assured her. "I'll stay beside you." He held her hands lightly, showing her how to hold the reins. His touch was steady, warm, and reassuring. She guided Maple a few steps to the left, then to the right. It felt like a small victory. "You did that," Ethan said proudly. Lana smiled, feeling her confidence grow. She wasn't ready for anything fast, but she was moving slow, steady, and in control. She felt something she hadn't felt in years. Trust. Not only in the horse, but in herself, and in Ethan's guidance. As they continued riding, they talked more deeply. Lana shared stories about her childhood, her dreams, and her struggles. Ethan listened quietly, giving thoughtful replies. He didn't interrupt, didn't judge, and didn't try to fix her problems. He just listened, truly listened, something she wasn't used to. "Ethan, in return, told her a little about his life on the ranch, how he grew up here, how he lost his father a few years ago, and how the ranch became his whole world. Lana saw a softness in his eyes when he talked about it, a quiet strength shaped by responsibility and love for his land. The more they talked, the more Lana felt a connection forming, something gentle, something real. She didn't know what it meant yet, but she felt comforted by his presence. She felt safe. As the sun began lowering in the sky, Ethan slowed Maple even more, and then stopped. "I think you did great today," he said. Lana laughed softly. "Better than yesterday?" "Much better." He helped her down from the saddle, and she landed on the ground with more confidence than before. She felt proud of herself. She had faced her fear, trusted someone new, and learned something she never thought she could. They walked back toward the barn, side by side. Neither of them said much, but the silence felt warm, not awkward. It was the kind of silence that grows between people who are comfortable with each other. As Lana watched the ranch glow under the setting sun, she realized something important. She wasn't just learning about ranch life. She was learning about slowing down, trusting the moment, and letting someone guide her without fear. And Ethan, with his calm voice and steady hands, was becoming someone she looked forward to spending time with. The gentle connection that began with fear on a horse was slowly turning into something deeper, something she didn't expect when she first arrived at the ranch. Lana had been at the ranch for only a few days, but it felt like she had discovered a new world inside herself. Every morning she woke up peacefully, without noise, without hurry. And every day, she found herself looking forward to spending time with Ethan. She didn't plan it, and she didn't try to name it. But she felt it, something quiet, something growing. Ethan, too, seemed more open with her now. He spoke a little more, smiled a little more, and watched her with a softness that wasn't there the first day. Even though he was still a quiet man, Lana sensed that he enjoyed her company. Their conversations came naturally, and their silences felt comfortable, not empty. One afternoon, the sky looked different. The usual clear blue had been replaced with heavy gray clouds that slowly gathered above the ranch. Lana didn't notice it at first. She was helping Ethan move some tools near the barn. She carried a smaller toolbox, while Ethan lifted a heavier one. They worked side by side with an easy rhythm, exchanging short comments and quiet smiles. When Lana stepped outside the barn to place something by the fence, a cool wind suddenly brushed against her face. She looked up. The clouds appeared thicker than before, swirling slowly like a warning. The air around her felt strange still, heavy, almost tense. "Ethan," she called. He stepped out of the barn and followed her gaze. His expression changed, becoming serious. "We need to finish fast. Storm's coming." Lana's heart tightened. She had never been caught in a countryside storm before. In the city, she was used to sudden rain. But this sky looked different. Strong. Unpredictable. They began moving quickly, gathering tools and securing a few things that might blow away. The wind picked up faster than Lana expected. It pushed against her clothes, making her feel off balance. Dust began to rise from the ground, and the trees nearby shook with intensity. Ethan shouted over the growing wind, "Stay close, okay?" Lana nodded, trying to stay calm, but her hands were shaking. A sudden loud crack of thunder made her jump. The sound echoed across the land, deep and frightening. She felt a rush of fear pour through her body. Ethan stepped closer. "It's okay. We'll get everything inside." His voice was steady, but firm. They rushed toward the barn again. Lana grabbed a rope and tried to coil it quickly, but the wind blew her hair into her face and made her movements clumsy. The sky dimmed even more, and another thunderclap rolled through the fields. Lana froze. For a moment, all the old anxiety she had carried from her city life returned, moments when things felt out of control, when she felt powerless, when everything moved too fast. The storm, the noise, the sudden change, it all hit her at once. Her breath grew short. Ethan noticed immediately. He dropped the bucket he was carrying and hurried toward her. "Lana, hey, look at me." She tried, but her eyes were filled with fear. "It's too loud." she said quietly, almost to herself. Too fast. I don't know what to do. Ethan placed a firm but gentle hand on her shoulder. You're okay, he said in a calm voice that cut through the chaos. I'm right here. Just breathe with me. The storm rumbled again, but Ethan stood steady, not flinching. Come on, he said softly. We'll go inside the barn. It's safer. He guided her not by pulling, but by walking slowly beside her until they reached the barn door. The moment they stepped inside, the wind outside howled loudly, making the wooden walls tremble. Lana sat down on a bale of hay, her hands shaking. Ethan sat down beside her, not too close at first, giving her space, but close enough to let her know she wasn't alone. You're safe, he said again. Storms pass. This one will too. Lana tried to breathe steadily, focusing on Ethan's calm voice instead of the sound of the wind. His presence alone was grounding. He didn't rush her, didn't ask her too many questions. He simply stayed, after a few moments. When Lana finally felt her breathing ease, Ethan asked gently, You okay now? She nodded, wiping a small tear she hadn't realized had fallen. Thank you. I don't know why I got so scared. It's normal, Ethan said. Storms can be unpredictable. Anyone would feel uneasy. But you didn't, she said, looking up at him. Ethan smiled lightly. I've seen 100 of these. You're just not used to it yet. Silence fell between them, but it was warm. Lana felt a strange mix of embarrassment and gratitude. She wasn't used to depending on people. She had always tried to handle everything alone, but with Ethan, it felt different. Safe. Natural. As the storm continued, rain began hitting the barn roof loudly. The sound should have scared her. But sitting beside Ethan, she found herself calming down slowly. You know something? She said softly, staring at the ground. I don't remember the last time someone helped me feel safe during something scary. Ethan turned to her. You don't have to go through things alone all the time. Lana met his eyes. They were steady, warm, and full of sincerity. She felt something shift inside her, something gentle, something deep. Can I tell you something? She asked quietly. Of course. When I came here, I didn't expect to feel anything. I just wanted a break. But every day, I feel like I'm learning something about myself. And about you. Ethan's eyes softened. What do you mean? She hesitated for a moment, choosing her words carefully. You have this calm way of handling things. When I panic, you slow everything down for me. Like yesterday with the horse. And today, you make things feel easier. Ethan looked down at his hands, a small, hesitant smile on his face. I'm glad I can help. Lana gently placed her hand over his. You're more than just helpful. Ethan, you're comforting. Ethan froze slightly, not out of discomfort, but out of surprise. He wasn't used to people expressing feelings openly. He wasn't used to someone seeing past his quiet nature. He lifted his eyes to hers. Lana, I want to tell you something too. Her heart beat a little faster, but in a warm, hopeful way. Ethan took a slow breath. Since the day you arrived, I've felt something. Something I didn't expect. You brought a different kind of energy here. A softness. A light. And I care about you more than I thought I would. Lana felt her chest tighten, not with fear this time, but with emotion. She hadn't expected him to say it, yet she was glad he did. She moved closer, her hand still over his. I care about you too, she whispered. Outside, the storm continued. But inside the barn, something gentle and deep was forming, something that felt stronger than the noise outside. Their connection, built slowly through trust, fear, and kindness, now stood clearly between them. Lana leaned her head lightly on Ethan's shoulder, and he didn't move away. He relaxed beside her, letting the moment settle. It felt natural, peaceful, almost like it had been waiting to happen. For a long time, they sat together, listening to the storm from the safety of the barn. They didn't rush the moment. They didn't try to define anything. They simply let their hearts speak quietly, the way only genuine feelings do. And that afternoon, while the rain poured and the sky shook, something beautiful took shape, a bond rooted in trust, patience, and the comfort of knowing someone truly cares. The storm lasted through most of the evening, but inside the barn, Lana and Ethan stayed together quietly. Every now and then, thunder echoed in the distance, but Lana no longer felt afraid. Sitting beside Ethan made her feel safe, as if whatever happened outside couldn't reach her here. She leaned gently against his shoulder, and he allowed the moment to remain calm and unbroken. When the storm finally softened into a gentle rain, Ethan stood up and looked outside. "Seems like it's slowing down," he said. Lana nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and a quiet sadness that the moment was ending. The soft glow of the fading daylight fell across the fields, painting everything with a peaceful calm. She stood up slowly, brushing bits of hay from her clothes. "Let's walk back to the house," Ethan suggested. "Carefully, the ground might be slippery." Lana smiled softly. "As long as you're leading the way, I'll be fine." Ethan looked at her for a moment, and there was something warm in his eyes, something that made Lana's heart flutter. He didn't say anything, but the look itself was enough. They stepped outside, walking side by side through the fresh post-storm breeze. The air smelled of wet earth and clean skies. The clouds were beginning to break apart, revealing hints of evening colors. Lana felt her thoughts settling quietly, as if her whole soul exhaled after holding in too much for too long. Once they reached the house, Ethan held the door open for her. She stepped inside and paused, turning to him. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" he asked, genuinely unsure. "For being there. For staying beside me when I was scared. For being patient with me every single day." Ethan lowered his gaze, a shy smile touching his face. "You don't have to thank me for that. I care about you, Lana. Helping you just comes naturally." Her heart warmed at his words. She wanted to stay in that moment forever. Later, after dinner, the ranch fell quiet again. The storm had scared the animals earlier, but now everything settled into calm. Lana stepped outside onto the porch to breathe in the cool night air. The stars were slowly appearing above her, one by one. Ethan joined her silently, standing a small distance away at first. He leaned on the wooden railing, gazing out into the dark fields. "It's peaceful after a storm," Lana said. "It always is," Ethan replied. "The land resets itself, clears the air, makes everything feel new." Lana turned her head to look at him. "I think I'm resetting too." Ethan looked back at her, curiosity in his eyes. "What do you mean?" She hesitated for a moment, gathering her thoughts. "Before I came here, everything in my life felt heavy. I was always stressed, always running, always trying to meet someone else's expectations. I forgot what calm felt like. I forgot how to breathe." She paused softly. "Being here, being around you, it reminded me how to slow down, how to feel peace again." Ethan listened closely, his expression thoughtful. "You deserve peace, Lana," he said quietly. The sincerity in his voice touched her deeply. She walked a little closer to him, feeling the night air wrap around them like a gentle blanket. "Ethan," she said softly, "what happens now?" He looked at her with steady eyes. "What do you want to happen?" She took a slow breath, feeling the truth forming in her chest. "I don't want to go back to my old life just yet. I'm supposed to leave in a couple of days, but I don't feel ready." Ethan's expression softened, but he didn't rush to answer. Lana continued quietly. "I feel like there's still something here for me to learn. Something I don't want to walk away from. And..." She looked down at her hands for a moment before looking back up. "And I don't want to walk away from you." Ethan's breath caught slightly, not in shock, but in quiet emotion. He stepped closer, just a small step, but enough that Lana felt his warmth in the cool night air. "I'm glad you said that," he murmured, "because I've been trying to find the right words since the storm." She looked into his eyes, waiting for his next words. "I want you to stay," he said simply. Not because you're scared to go back, but because you feel something here. Because we both do. Lana felt her heart swell. Everything inside her felt tender, warm, and steady, like the beginning of something real. I do, she whispered. I feel something very real. Ethan reached out slowly, as if making sure she was comfortable. His hand gently took hers, and she felt a wave of calm and warmth move through her. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't loud. It was gentle, just like everything he did. They stood there together, hand in hand, watching the stars grow brighter. After a long, peaceful silence, Ethan spoke again. If you stay longer, I'll show you more of ranch life. Not just the chores, but the real parts. The quiet mornings, the slow evenings, the simple moments. You might even start liking it more than city life. I already do, Lana said with a soft laugh. Ethan smiled. Then stay. Lana looked out at the wide fields stretching under the night sky. The thought of returning to her busy life suddenly felt distant and unimportant. Here, she had found something her heart had been missing: calmness, understanding, and a connection she didn't know she needed. She squeezed Ethan's hand gently. I'll stay. At least for now. I want to see where this goes. Crown. Ethan looked relieved, more relieved than he expected to feel. I'm glad, he said. The next morning, the ranch looked fresh and bright after the storm. The sky was clear, the ground soft, and the air full of new energy. Lana woke up with a feeling she hadn't felt in years, a feeling of hope mixed with quiet excitement. She stepped out of the house and saw Ethan near the horses, brushing Maple's coat. When he saw her, he gave her a warm smile. Ready for another lesson? He asked. Lana walked toward him with confidence she didn't have before. Only if you promise to keep things slow. Ethan chuckled softly. I think you're the one who likes slow now. Maybe I do, she said with a smile. He helped her onto Maple again. But this time she wasn't scared. She felt balanced, steady, and in control. Ethan guided her gently at first, but eventually, she began steering on her own, moving with calm confidence through the open field. You're doing great, he called out. Lana laughed lightly. I think I'm getting better. You're more relaxed, Ethan said. That makes all the difference. As she rode slowly through the field, she felt the breeze touch her face. Warm and soft. The land around her looked peaceful, almost magical, and she realized something important. She wasn't running away from anything anymore. She was running towards something new. When she finished the ride, Ethan came to her side and helped her down. This time, when her feet touched the ground, she didn't feel unsteady at all. Instead, she felt grounded, sure, and quietly brave. Ethan looked into her eyes, his voice warm. I'm proud of you. Lana smiled. Thank you. For everything. They stood together, watching the sun rise slowly over the ranch. It painted the fields gold, turning the moment into something unforgettable. Lana knew her visit had changed her life forever. She had come looking for rest, but she found something deeper: peace, understanding, and a gentle kind of love that grew not from rushed moments, but from slow, meaningful ones. And as the sun warmed the land, she knew inside her heart that this was only the beginning of something beautiful, something worth staying for.